Hello, and welcome to Grab Life by the Plant. Everything you need to know about CBD. I am Heidi the Hempress, your delightful guide, and this is lesson 3 of our 3-part series. I just want to thank everyone for the overwhelming response we've had to the first 2 lessons, and I really enjoyed everyone's comments and questions. So thank you for that. In lesson 1 and 2, we went over what CBD is, why it's so great for the human body, what hemp is, and why it's such an amazing plant, and the societal implications of federally legalized hemp. We've also talked about how to find a good CBD product and a good CBD company. And so today in lesson 3, we're going to go over how to dose CBD. We're going to talk about 10 ways that you can get the most out of your CBD product. And we're also going to give you 4 reasons that you should not take a CBD product. So that's all very interesting. So let's get started. Number 1, how to dose. So I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a scientist. I am not prescribing anything here to cure, treat, or prevent anything. And so because of that, I cannot dose. I can't prescribe. But what I can do is give you a serving suggestion and tell you how to get the most and out of your products and take the right serving and the right dose for you. So the interesting thing about CBD is that there is no one perfect dose for people. It varies wildly. It varies on the state of your particular endocannabinoid system. It varies on what you're taking it for. So some people have great success microdosing with very small amounts, like with anxiety, that kind of thing. Small doses tend to be perfect, and small frequent doses. And then, all the way to the other end of the spectrum, where if you're working with a doctor and you've got, seizures you're trying to get under control, they're probably going to prescribe mega doses of CBD. So most of us are somewhere in the middle there. I mean, a really common starter dose is about 5 milligrams, sometimes even less, and that's split up. So in the morning and at night. So the levels in your body stay consistent and even. What I tell people to do, and this is how to dose, is you start low, start with a small dose. So whatever the serving suggestion on your product is, that or even less. And take it consistently over the course of a few days, and then gradually increase your dose until you reach your desired effects. This can take weeks, this can take months. For some people, it takes a day. So it, again, varies wildly, but start low, be consistent, gradually increase until you reach your desired effects. And then once you do, and say you increase again, you can play around with it. Some people will increase and their desired effects will go away. So they'll have to back off to get to that sweet spot. So, like I said, CBD, more is not better. Some people need to take less to get the effects that they want. So playing around with it and finding the perfect dose for you is all you can really do. And, the great thing about CBD is it's very safe. You can't overdose on it. You don't have to worry about that. You can play around with it and find what's perfect for you. So that's how to dose. Let's talk about 10 ways to get the most out of your CBD products. So number 1 is to combine it with melatonin. A lot of people take CBD to help them with sleep. In fact, we joke around that that's one of the side effects. There aren't really any side effects with CBD, but we joke that it's like you'll sleep better and your skin will clear up and all these other things that you didn't expect. But it's taking it with melatonin or another natural sleep aid like that really can help people. I don't take melatonin, but I generally sleep pretty well. But I do like to combine my CBD with like a German chamomile and lavender essential oil. at night, therapeutic grade. So I add that to my sublingual drops and take that, and it's fabulous. I sleep like a baby. My husband has more of an insomnia issue, so he will combine it with melatonin, and that works great. So because of CBD's safe status, I mean, you can combine it with different things and play around with other nutritional supplements with it, and they really work well together. So that leads me to number 2, and that is combining your CBD with antioxidants. CBD in and of itself is a great antioxidant. It's a great anti-inflammatory. So combining it with an antioxidant supplement is really going to give it a huge power boost and increase the efficacy of both products. So like I am a Young Living fan. I like their Ningxia wolfberry supplements. So I like to combine my morning CBD with the Ningxia juice. But you could do it with, you know, if you're doing smoothies, or if you're you know, if you're taking like a carotenoid supplement or anything like that, any kind of anti-inflammatory, like turmeric or something fun like that, it's gonna help boost the effects of both products. Number 3, follow directions. So this probably seems obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many people are like, oh, you know, I'm supposed to eat 1 gummy. I'll eat 5 and I'm sure it'll be better. First of all, you're just wasting it. Secondly, there's no reason. And thirdly, you're actually working against yourself if you're just starting out on CBD. A larger dose is not necessarily going to help you with anything, especially to begin with. So there have been reports of people that started out, like never tried CBD before, and then will take a huge dose. And there's been reports of like lightheadedness or headaches or fatigue. So if you experience anything like that, back off and generally follow the directions. And even if you take the suggested serving size and you experience any of those things, you know, the next day take less, take half of that. CBD is one of those things that in my experience, I found that very small doses can be incredibly powerful. So, yeah, follow the directions. Number 4, create a routine. This is really going to help you find success with CBD. So adding CBD to your routine will look different for different people. So that may be to put your bottle of sublingual drops next to your coffee pot in the morning so that you see it, and when you're brewing your coffee, you take your drops, and that helps you remember. Or it might be keeping it on your bedside table. When you go to bed, then that you remember, you see it then, and it triggers you to remember to take it. You know, or you can get creative with it. Like you do a green smoothie every morning, put your drops in your green smoothie. Whatever works for you, but make it part of your existing routine instead of adding like a separate thing to your routine. Try to integrate it, and you'll have better success finding consistency that way. So number 5, add your CBD to food and drink. So I already kind of mentioned this. This is a really fun thing to do, and just for a number of reasons. But you can add it to anything. So anything from like cupcake frosting to cocktails. I mean, adding CBD products to your cocktail hour is like taking, you know, the relaxation level to a whole nother place. There's tons of ways. You can add it to salad dressings, or you can heat CBD up, and I would say anything less than 300 degrees is fine. You don't want to heat it up more than that, so if you're baking something at more than that, I wouldn't add CBD to that. But, you know, you could sprinkle it on your salad, in drinks, tons of possibilities there, and a really fun way to like jazz up a get-together too. So number 6, use bioavailable CBD. So a traditional CBD supplement is going to be 20 to 30% effective at best. A bioavailable CBD is going to be like a water-soluble CBD, a nano-amplified or emulsified CBD, a liposomal CBD. Any of those technologies that they're using to make it more bioavailable is going to basically, it's going to be more effective, you're going to be able to take less, and you're going to be able to get better results, and you're going to save money. Instead of your body just flushing the CBD out, your cells can take it out. That's what bioavailability means. So your cells can efficiently use that CBD instead of it going down the drain. So look for a bioavailable CBD supplement. Number 7, combine with other cannabinoids. So there's this cool thing called the entourage effect. And as an herbalist, I've come across this a lot, and I've never heard it called the entourage effect before, but I love that. So basically, it's that as far as CBD goes, when it's in the presence of other cannabinoids, it works better and more efficiently. And, it's kind of one of those things where nature just knows what it's doing. As a Western scientific-minded society, we want to go in and we want to find the compound in a plant that tends to be the most therapeutic, and we want to extract that, and we want to do mega doses of that, to really help people. But which is great. But in truth, we're missing out on a lot of those phytonutrients that are meant to work together with that therapeutic extract that come in the plant. So turmeric is a great example of this. I'm a huge fan of turmeric. It's amazing plant, food, and medicine. And, we've found that curcumin is the compound in turmeric that is the most effective and therapeutic. And so they've extracted that, and you can buy just curcumin supplements. But then you're missing out on the other great antioxidants and the other great phytonutrients that are in turmeric. So personally, like my turmeric supplement I take is a whole plant, powder, turmeric powder, and then it has extra curcumin added to it. So I'm getting the best of both worlds. Sorry about that. So I'm getting like the extra curcumin, which is the really power-packed therapeutic compound, but I'm also getting those other phytonutrients in there. So CBD is the same way. Hemp is an amazing adaptogenic herb by itself. And in a perfect world, probably the best thing would be to have like fresh hemp and to juice it and to drink the juice. Well, most of us don't have access to fresh hemp and don't want to go through the work of juicing it. And even if we did, we would probably not like the taste of it very well. So what I recommend there to get the entourage effect is to find a broad spectrum product. And so there is an isolate, like at 406 CBD, our drops are an isolate product. So it's just the CBD, which is great. And I've yet to find anyone who says isolate doesn't work for them. But then we're also carrying a broad spectrum capsule. And so what I do is I do the isolate twice a day, but then some days I'll just take a broad spectrum capsule instead, or maybe along with it, so that I'm getting those other cannabinoids and getting all of the phytonutrients and take advantage of that entourage effect. And just to go over real quick, so an isolate is just CBD, just that one compound. And it's called isolate because it's isolated from all the other compounds that come in hemp. A broad spectrum product is going to have a grouping of cannabinoids, but without the THC. And THC is the cannabinoid that creates a high that's in marijuana and in just trace amounts in hemp. But there's zero THC in a broad spectrum product generally. And then a full spectrum product is a hemp product that's going to have that 0.3% THC as well. So depending on your personal preferences and where you live, that 0.3% of THC may be preferable or may not be. So that's why you want to know if it's a broad spectrum product or a full spectrum product, and that's the difference. I hope that's clear. Please send me your questions if that's not. I'm happy to answer them. So, okay, take advantage of the entourage effect with combining CBD with other cannabinoids. Number 8, try multiple forms of CBD. So there's so many great CBD products out there now, and there's more coming out all the time. I like taking the drops twice a day. That works really well for me. But if I'm traveling, I really like the gummies, or I'll keep a bag of candies in my purse. It's just convenience. I don't have to worry about it spilling. They taste good. They're fun. But there's CBD bath bombs that nourish the skin and help with aches and pains. And there's CBD chocolates and CBD water. There's so many different products out there. Play around with it and find what works well for your routine and your lifestyle. And have fun with it. So number 9, consistency and time. So I already kind of touched on this when we talked about dosing. It's vitally important to be consistent if you're looking for a therapeutic effect with your CBD products. So, and give it time. So I say 3 to 6 months. That is a fair trial period for a CBD product in my mind. If you start low and you're consistently upping your dose every few days, by the end of 90 days, if you're not, experiencing any positive effects, then it's not for you. But what we tend to do, and this is just humans, I'm just as guilty as anyone, we tend to take it for a few days, forget it for a few days, 2 weeks later, we're like, I don't know if it's really working, but then we don't really know how consistent we've been, and we don't really know how long we've been taking it or how much we're taking. It's like we don't work out one day and then get mad that we're not in perfect shape on day 2. That's not how the world works. That's not how our bodies work. So consistency and time are really, really important. And that brings me to number 10. And this is how you're going to be consistent and make sure that you're giving it the right amount of time. And that is to journal. So it can be a scrap of paper, a notebook, whatever. Write down every day how much you're taking, when you take it, and how you feel. This doesn't have to be some arduous task. Just on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel today? Write down the number. One dropper, put a 1 there. It doesn't have to be difficult or time consuming, but it is important, because if you're anything like me, when I start feeling better, I forget how bad I was feeling. Every time I come down with a cold or the flu, which thankfully isn't very often, I'm like, oh gosh, I forgot how bad this sucks. You forget how miserable it is until it happens again. And also, like, I don't remember what I had for dinner 3 days ago, much less how I felt two weeks ago. So, keeping track is great, because after 2-3 weeks, you might be like, I don't know if I really feel any different or not. And you can go back and you can be like, well, my pain is a 3 today. And 2 weeks ago, my pain was at a 7 today. So, that helps you have that perspective. Or you might be like, I was at a 3 then too. No difference. Maybe it's not working very well. So that's how you can know, and you can keep track and get the most out of your products, and not be confused while you're taking them. So those are the 10 tips to get the most out of your CBD products. If you guys have any tips, please post them below in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I'm sure everyone else would love to see them as well. I narrowed that down from like 30 different ideas. So there are lots of fun ways to get the most out of your CBD products as well. So now, 4 reasons not to take CBD. Number 1, if your doctor or your pharmacist says that there's any indicated drug interactions with any prescriptions that you're taking, don't take CBD. If you do it under the supervision of your doctor, work with them, or maybe you want to, try a different prescription first, or wean off of that prescription before you try CBD. Make a plan with your doctor. Don't mess around taking CBD when it's going to interact with one of your important prescriptions. Number 2, if you're allergic to CBD or any of the other ingredients in the product. This, I've never heard of anyone that's allergic to CBD, but as humans, and I can be a testament to this, we can be allergic to anything, literally anything. So, and the other ingredients too. So like MCT oil, it comes from coconuts. If you're allergic to coconuts, don't take the sublingual drops that are based in MCT oil. That's just really important. And there's a way around it too. I mean, you can find a product that maybe doesn't have coconut oil in it that you could try and would be more safe for you. I I'm like the queen of strange allergies. I've battled with allergies my whole life. And I even couple years ago, I came down with this allergy to cold, which sounds absolutely ridiculous. But if I held like an iced coffee in my hand, I would break out in hives. If I touched anything cold, if I was like shopping for produce in the produce section, you know how it's like refrigerated coolers, I would break out in hives. It was so bizarre. But I actually, a few years ago, I started working with a doctor who does NATE protocol. It stands for New Butchaped Allergy Elimination Technique. And he's actually based in Lewistown, super lucky for me, but they're all over the country. And he has helped me to eliminate about 90% of my allergies so far. It took him 2 sessions and he eliminated my cold allergy, luckily. And so I would highly recommend looking that up if you're someone who suffers from allergies. I went from not being able to sleep through the night to being able to sleep through the night, which is huge, you know, transformative for my own personal health, because it was just, you know, when you're not sleeping well, then nothing functions very well the next day. So I would recommend checking that out. And also don't fool around with allergies. You don't want to risk like an anaphylactic shock or throat swelling up or anything like that. So number 3 reason that you should not take a CBD product is if it's of a low quality or an unknown quality. So we went over this in one of the earlier lessons, but hemp is a fabulous bioaccumulator, which means that it takes up the toxins in the environment in which it's grown, so the soil and stuff. And so if you're buying a product that isn't tested or made sure that it's grown in a clean environment from a reputable company, you could be ingesting heavy metals, microbial contaminants like molds. You know, if this is being brewed in someone's bathtub, I mean, you don't want to risk taking something as a health supplement that is then going to be bad for your health because it's contaminated. So just make sure that it's a reputable company, that they're, you know, that things are manufactured in a certified facility, and that the hemp is, you know, certified organic, or at least grown using organic farming practices. It's just not worth the risk there. You don't know how many people I've talked to are like, oh yeah, I have some CBD, I've been using it. And I'm like, oh, what kind is it? And they're like, oh, I don't know, my sister's friend gave it to me. And and you know, there's a lot of great products out there, but there's a lot of not great products out there. So just, you know, take the time, do the due diligence, do a little bit of research, and make sure that the product that you're taking is clean and that they can prove it. So number 3, low quality. Number 4, if it's a marijuana derived CBD product, you need to be careful because they can derive CBD from marijuana, and that's great, but depending on where you live, that CBD may be illegal. So just know your local laws, know your state's laws. If you want to make sure that you have a legal CBD product, make sure that it's hemp derived, and that will be federally legal. So that the THC level is really the most important thing when it comes to CBD products. So they need to be federally legal. It needs to be hemp derived, and it needs to contain 0.3% THC or less. A lot of CBD companies will have 0% THC, so you don't have to worry about it at all. That's what 406 is doing, just 0 THC products. But just do your research there and find out what you're taking and where it comes from. Okay, so that is 4 reasons that you might not want to take a CBD product. I'm so incredibly passionate about hemp and about CBD because my mission, which has been for years, is to help people heal, to help people grow, and to help people take their health back, take their power back, and to start loving their lives again. And CBD I've found to be one of the best ways, one of the greatest tools I've come across to do just that. And that's why I'm so fired up about this. That's why I started 406 CBD. This is my passion. This is really important to me. It's so exciting to see the changes that happen in people's individual lives when they start CBD. The stories that friends, clients, customers have told me just make my heart happy. And that's why I'm continuing with this, and I'm so passionate about it. Speaking of 406 CBD, we're launching next week. We'll be sending out information about that in probably our next email. And I'm incredibly excited. We're launching with the sublingual drops, the broad spectrum capsules, which I mentioned, and a topical cream, which is essential oil infused and CBD infused. And so it's been a lot of fun formulating these products and working with packaging and labeling, and everything about it has been a really fun creative process for me. And also, I'm just super excited for these products to hit the market so you guys can try them and I can start hearing those stories, because I know you're going to love them because I love them. So that's next week. Thank you so much for watching the Grab Life by the Plant series, everything you need to know about hemp. I'm incredibly honored that you're all here and that you're watching. And I really look forward to reading your comments and questions below and answering them and interacting with all of you. And so that's until next time. We'll talk to you next week when we launch. Have a great day.